Hello. How are you this evening? I feel like you're really close here. There, that's better. My name is Jean, and I am from Card Creating with Jean. And welcome to Saturday nights. Hi, Lori. Welcome. Welcome to Saturday nights live. Live from on Saturday night. Except it's not in New York, is it? It's in McFarland, Wisconsin. Oh, dear. Oh, I hope you've had a good day. Hi, Nancy. Thank you for joining. And ran a few errands this morning, and then I've been sitting in my studio the rest of the day working on what I was going to show you tonight. I kind of went into it a little deep. But hopefully we'll have some cards that we can complete. I have them in several different stages so that hopefully I can show you many different things that I do when I'm watercoloring. So I hope you enjoy it. Hi, Carol. Hi, Shar. Thanks for joining. Glad to see everybody here. And just want to make sure we wait just a little bit before I put the camera down to show you things. I can tell you, I did check quickly before we went on what the back-ordered items were and what is on low inventory. A lot of it is the same thing that has been before. Bead trinkets are listed as to be determined at this point because they've run out of stock of those a few times. So evidently they just must have been on low inventory and they just went off low inventory and they don't have any available. And it always takes them a few days before they figure out when they can get their next batch in. So stay tuned on that one. The gold twist thread, which is really popular, is going to be back in stock on March 24th. The Daffodil Delight 1/8 inch ribbon will be back on the 10th of March. The Adhesive Hearts will be back on March 24th. The Storybook Moments 12 by 12 paper will be back in stock on the 17th of March. And the Timeless Plaid 6 by 6 paper, which is so popular, it will be back on the week of the 3rd. To the Point Label Punch will be back on April 14th. Everyday Arches Dies is one that went on to the is on this list too for March 3rd. And Storybook Friends Dies, the ones that have the rabbits and the cute frames, that one will be back in stock on the 3rd. And low inventory, Terrific Toadstools Punch and Bundle are going to be going probably off pretty soon. So if that's something you want to get it ordered quickly. And the Heart Shape Bundle, which is one of the Celebration, second tier Celebration items, those are on low inventory. So that's what I've got on these are all items that are in the new catalog, or probably items that are in the online exclusives only that have recently come out. There are other things. Hi, Pam. Nice to see you. Other things that popped up that would be like some of the 8.5 by 8 by 11 paper, and some of the inks and some of the refills, those kind of things. I think that the what do they call them? The cutting blades, those are on the list for low inventory. So if you need some of those, get them ordered. I know I go through them quite a bit because I do a lot of cutting of paper. So thank you to those that shared. Nancy, Shar. That's what I can see up on my screen right now. I really appreciate that. It certainly helps me a lot. It also lets other people know that maybe haven't liked my page that that I'm on so that they can watch. So I'm ready to flip the camera down. As you recall, I was showing you what was in my pre-sale order and on Tuesday. So, gosh, words are hard for me today. Goodness, I hope it gets better. And so all the examples that I had, that's what I have for the drawing tonight. And so you get to choose from one of those 4 cards. So I'm going to flip the camera down so you can take a look at them. Whoop. I had a problem there with my light. This ring light always gives me problems because it lays over the top of another light that I have on my desk at the same time, and every time I move the camera over, that does not want to stay there. I think that should be okay. Sorry about that. It took a little more adjusting than I'm used to. Anyway, that ring light does give me problems because my electrical source is all over this side, and the cord is laying over the top of another light, and every time I move it, it wants to move this other one, though I have it kind of pinned down a little bit, but it still can move somewhat. So these are the cards, and we are going to be doing some watercoloring with this set right here tonight. I watercolored these directly from the ink pads onto, what did I use? I guess I used the aqua pen. And we're going to use the aqua pen again tonight, but we're going to use it with the watercolor pencils. And you'll see what the difference is between the two here in just a minute. So these are the cards you have to choose from. Let's see who gets to win tonight. It is number 5. It's Pam. Pam, you get to choose one of these cards, and I would be very happy to send it to you. Let's see, what's the date today? Oh, the 22nd, that's right. 222. So just let me know which one you would like. And I will get it sent to you. Yay, Pam, yep. Do you have a selection? It's funny how slow this thing is at when I ask a question, how long it takes for me to get a response. Well, maybe Pam stepped away. The butterfly one says, take your time. I'm here when you're ready. Did I add anything on the inside? I did. Wishing you comfort. Nice for someone that is maybe sick. And that's what these are too, the inhale, exhale. One is, it's okay to sit and simply feel how you feel. And this one has a different inside sentiment. It's enough if all you did today was survive. These two are good for somebody that you know that maybe is going through cancer treatments or something really hard. And this little guy is sending a big hug. Feel better soon. I guess I was on a feel better kick last week. Tonight we're going to be on a birthday kick. Well, let me know which one you want, and I will send it off to you. I want to get started on this, I think, tonight. The butterfly one. Okay, perfect. I always put my sticky note on the back of the one that's chosen so I know which one to send, because it's going to depend on my memory these days. Okay. So we are going to be... one thing first, I want to show you. I got a card today from Michelle Quino. She's on quite frequently. She isn't on, I don't think, so far tonight, unless she hasn't said anything and she's ghosting us. She sent a card, and I love this. Is she put this over the top of the card to protect it because of the embellishments and stuff. But this is a card that she had put on her website. So pretty. It's got the Wink of Stella just winking on here. So pretty. So now I've got this stamp set, but I don't have the dies and the hybrid embossing folder. And I have it in my basket, but I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on it or not. But I think this is pretty. She added this piece over here, and she used a blending brush, it looks like, to put just a little bit of the same color. I don't know if this is Petunia Pop, maybe? It almost looks like it. Brush some on the edge, and it just adds a little bit more dimension to it. So pretty. So I thank her very much, and she will probably catch the video later. So we're actually going to use that set using the happy birthday image and time to celebrate for the inside of our cards tonight. So I'll get that out of the way. And this is the card set that we're going to use. I am concentrating on these 4 images here. I have not done the lighthouse image yet. So I was doing some practicing of it while I was over at Char's yesterday. I didn't really like what I was doing. She probably could figure that out because she kept asking me if I was going to be doing this tonight. And I was like, I don't know. Sorry, I needed to wet my thing down a little bit because I'm going to do just a little bit of stamping later. So I did... Here's a couple of them that I got done. I have 2 other ones that I finished that I actually did put on cards, and I will show you those at the end. But you can see there is... Let me grab those 2 cards again. Come here. There is quite a difference in the look of them between the watercolor pencils and doing it direct on. I personally felt like I had more control using the watercolor pencils with doing some shading. Once I figured out how to do the shading, I was a little dumb at that, I guess, to begin with, but then I figured it out and was able to do better later. So put those aside. So these are 2 that we could actually put on a card, but I'm going to put them aside. I'm using the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. It's 5 by 7, and I'm just cutting it into quarters when I'm using it. I first started by doing it all on one sheet. Well, then if I messed up on one and I wanted to flip it over, it just got too confusing for me. So I just decided I'm just going to split this up into a quarter. This is a little bit larger than what... Oh, actually, this one isn't. I had some pieces that were larger than what the frame was, and I just ended up... And sometimes if I don't put it right in the center or get it over to the side, I'm going to end up having to lop off a little bit when I go to put it on, and I just cut it off before I glue it down. So anyway, I used the Saddle Brown Stays On. It's a product that Stampin' Up! Does sell. They do have it. It's one of those that's kind of hidden in the catalog a little bit. But So I just use that to stamp the images. Let's see. This is the pathway one. And then, of course, you know when you use the Stays On ink, and I'll tell you, the brown doesn't smell good like the black one does. This one smells like alcohol. Must be a different formula. I don't know. I was looking forward to that when I opened the box the first time. I thought, oh, this should smell so good. Oh, it doesn't. So I'm just kind of centering it and putting it on, letting it kind of soak in a little bit. Like so. And I'll do another one. This one can be a little tricky. Oh no, it's going to be fine. If you don't get it inked well, I'll show you when I stamp it where I have a problem sometimes. It's up in the gable end of the house. Right here. Sometimes those didn't want to come through. So I'm just going to stamp those two to begin with. And when I clean my stamps, I use the Stays On cleaner, which you can get on from Stampin' Up. This is some that I've had before I got into Stampin' Up, but it's the exact same product. And I use my scrubber here. Get some nice and clean. Okay, so I have some that are already stamped and started so that we can get through more of them. And those are right here. I know it doesn't look like I got much started, but it doesn't take terribly long to color these. I do have an extra glass of water because I do sometimes struggle getting water to come out of these if I want more, if I need to flood it like for the sky or something and I'm looking for more water. I sometimes have a little issue, and I thought, oh, tonight I'm going to have just a glass of water that I can dip into when I need to. Always have a paper towel for cleaning off the brush. And so what I discovered last night when I was working on them late into the night was that I needed to have a focal point of where the light was coming from. And I did not do that in these. These are just rather flat and colored. And I just thought, oh, that'll give it a little more life. So I'm going to start with the greens, the trees. I usually do those first, and the grass. So in the watercolor pencils, which I've got the both sets, you have Granny Apple Green, Garden Green, and Old Olive over here. So I started out, I did put some Granny Apple Green on. I guess I get a little Garden Green in between on some of these already. And then I end up with the Old Olive as the darkest part. So in this one, I'm having the light come from this direction. On this one, the light is going to be coming from this direction. Also this one. And this one, I thought it would just be straight on, like it was looking right into the sunlight. So I started with putting the lighter colors in here, and then I'm just going to kind of go in here with the darker Garden Green and add that on. And bring this in. What's nice about this is when you add the water, it will still be transparent where you can see the print coming through underneath, which is nice. Oops. I will just immediately go to the water, add that in. And I do kind of go back and forth sometimes with these and keep adding and blending. Sometimes I start out lighter and then I look at it and I think it needs to be a little bit darker and I'll go over it again. So now if it's wet like this, if you go and wanted to put your pencil in here, it's going to be really dark. You don't want to do that, probably. Maybe you do, but I know I don't. So, oh, we didn't put the light on these trees. So the light's going to come from the center here. So we're just going to put the light on these. And over on this side of this tree. And I'm hoping you're able to see this good. Do you want me to move the camera down closer? Would that be helpful? Hi, Rhonda. Welcome. I feel like you need to be closer. I'm going to just... Oh, that was that cord again. There. I think... Is that better for you? Thanks for sharing, Rhonda. I really appreciate it. And I'm just going to go and do the same thing up here. The light's going to come from the center. Garden green. Get this. It just gives the whole thing a lot more life, I think. And I'm just kind of pulling it away from the edge. And I'm brushing it on. Nope, I didn't get this little guy. I didn't put much on him. Might have to go back. Okay. Now I'm going back to the garden green and add that in here. Kind of not getting into where it's damp, and it's not very wet at all. There'll be a time where I'm going to want it much wetter. Let's see. Oh, I'm not used to doing so many of them at one time. I usually do one or two at a time. And I like with the watercolored pencils, you don't have to be solid and, you know, just kind of scribble it on. Okay. Yeah, this needs a little bit of, just a wee bit of water. That helps. And this time I'm kind of pulling it into the lighter to try to get it to mix together. This tree is really light. I'm going to have to go over that again. Okay, I'm just going to turn this sideways so I can brush it into the light granny apple green there. Rhonda, thank you very much for sharing, if I didn't say that already. I so appreciate that. Okay. So, as you can see, oh, that little guy didn't get anything, did it? You can kind of see the feel of this starting to come to life a little bit with having the lighter concentrated on the side where we expect the light to be coming from. always tell if it's not mixing well. It seems like when I squeeze the thing, I get too much. Go from one extreme to the other. I'm going to try to pull it back the other way. I'm just hardly putting the tip of the brush into the water. When I first made this, I don't think I got a very good impression when I stamped it. I thought these were mountains in the back. Well, I guess they could be, but when I really looked at it, it definitely wasn't. Okay, this is going to be continuing the green down below here. So you can kind of get the idea of how we're doing this. This needs to come over further. But you can see how the lines are still popping through, so you can get that extra definition from the stamp. So then I'm going to take the old olive, here we go, and that's going to go on the furthest away, and it's just kind of on the edge here, and the inside underneath the tree. Same on the evergreen, way over on the far side. And I'm going to add some down here. Just a tiny bit here, not much, because I don't want it to detract from the light. Golly, I think I'm going to have to give this thing a squeeze. There we go. I was fighting with it this afternoon when I was done. Just, well, put a little more water in it. Maybe that'll help. There. Back. So, what do you think? I always before wondered how do people get this stuff so almost realistic? You can see what they're going after with the lighting and stuff, and I just had to think about it for a little bit. Okay, that one is really coming along. All right, let's get the old olive on here. Come on, turn sideways for me. I'm just going to add a little bit down here, over there. What did I get on there? Like a piece of the pencil crumb. That wasn't so good. I wonder if I can get it off of this. Ha! Worked like a charm. All right, let's see. Come on. There we go. That's better. It does not take very long for this to dry. Even if I flood it with water, it doesn't take a long time to dry. So, just kind of wiggling the brush here. I did the stone-covered bridge in, let me think, pecan pie. And what's the gray? I think it's basic gray. Where is it? There it is. Yep, basic gray. I did this really dark. And I did this really light. I used the side of my pencil just to lightly go in there with it, and then darker up here. And I did go over it with the brush. I'm amazed that this brush can get into such tiny little places, and it doesn't make a mess. Alright, so now I want to bring this out a little bit more. So, alright, this is looking pretty good. Do want to try to get this to blend together a little bit better. There. The other thing I've done is if I want to get more of a color, as I will take the brush and I'll just go right on here and then apply it on. I do that quite frequently when I'm putting the blue in for the sky. That seems to help quite a bit. Okay, let's see. We did not do the dark on this one. And I can see that I missed going over this one a little bit. I could see my marks from the pencil. Now there are trees in the back here. I don't know if you could see that real well, but there are trees back here. You can see the little trunks from the trees. So I'm going to do those in Granny Apple, Garden Green. Just kind of a solid. And if we need to add a little darker in there, we certainly can. Okay, now I'll go back to Old Olive and get the rest of this in here on the underside of this tree. And the sides here. I hope hope you aren't saying, oh, this is too much for me. It really doesn't take long. It would help if I wasn't doing 4 of them at once here, even though I haven't done anything on this, but I did the trees on that one already. This is one of my favorite ones here, this one. I like this one a lot. This one needs underneath here. Let's see if I can, there we go. All right. Got this a little wetter. Let's see any granny apple on this tree. There. All right. So that gives you the gist of how to do that. I'm going to take these two for right now. These two I'm going to put aside. So these two, I thought it would look really cool to have a sunrise coming up right in the center here on both of these. And that is what I ended up doing. Here's the first one that I tried, and I just thought, see, this image is not quite as nicely stamped as this one is. This one's got a better, came out better in the stamping. And this one that I did, I'll show you the finished card. That's what we end up with. And I put the sunrise in the center. So those are what I was working on last night. I had, I don't know, I kept stamping and stamping and stamping, going at it. But, yeah, it's fun. Balmy blue. Let's get some water in here. Before we go after the, oh, that still had some. It's kind of amazing how it kind of comes to life. So you start with the lighter and then pull down to the darker. And then if you want more color up in the lighter, then you flip it around and you pull some of the lighter, or the darker up, excuse me. And if you really get a lot and it's too dark, but it's really wet, you can just take your paper towel and just go over the top and just put your finger on it and then pull it back off. And that will blot it off and make it so that you can try again. Watercolor is actually pretty forgiving. Don't want to ooze the water out all over the place here. Okay, so here is where can take it right from the pencil. If it's already wet and you want to add more on, all right. Shall we try the sunrise? So we've got real red, yellow, and pumpkin pie. So I'm going to start with a yellow. That looks pretty good. This one I don't want real wet. I'd like to be able to add the next color in quickly. But while that's sitting there, it's drying, we're going to go over to this one here. I'm going to add the gray in. Where did I go with my gray? Here it is. On the path. Does not have to be too dark. I'm going to add some, I think it's crumb cake. Is that what this is? Oh, that's crushed curry. No, it's one of these. It was peach pie, like where this brown is, little dots are. Just to give it a little bit extra color. I don't like that line there. I'll try to get that there. That's better. See how that dries. Oh, bring it down. And then I will take the basic gray and do this edging here. Dark. Put a lot of pressure on the pencil. I do better pulling. I took my calligraphy class, that's what they taught you, is you never push the nib, you always pull it towards you so you don't wreck it. And I guess I get into that habit. Okay. We're going to do the same thing with the sun back here. We can that has a larger area for the sun than this one does. The sun looks smaller. All right, I'm going to go to the orange now. Orange, pumpkin pie. back at that one. Whoops. Thought I had the water painter in my hand. And I didn't. Trying to get it to go down into the yellow just a wee bit. That's going better. I need a little more orange on this one. Yeah. See what I mean? We got orange now. There. That now is blended together. I'll try the red out here. Just kind of beyond the where I've got it wet. I just think this makes a neat effect. Maybe my brush was too empty when I was working with it before. And that's why it wouldn't push out the water. Just trying to get this to lightly blend in here. Okay. I'm glad you like it. All right, I'm taking the Balmy Blue and I'm going to kind of on the side in a round circular motion so we don't get quite so many lines. Before, when I was doing it just in straight lines, and I noticed I was having a hard time getting rid of the little lines in there. All right, let's see. This is going to have to go much darker. Ooh, that really gave me a lot of water. All right, fingers crossed. Oh, that's not too bad. You can see I've got a lot of water on here now. All right, we're going to let that sit. We're going back to this one. Oof, it was wet. That's not going to... Should have run it on a... I have to get this real wet too. Come on, water. There we go. And the way those little ovals are for the mats on the frames, you don't get a lot of room on the sides. So, I guess it doesn't matter that it got so dark over here on this side. I can probably hide most of that. Oh, I didn't get this in here. It's amazing. I've gotten stuff in the frames and discovered that I missed something, but it was still able to color it. Let's get rid of the blue here. Okay. There. Okay, what do you think? These are looking pretty good. Oh, we didn't color our rocks. Rocks are normally gray. These are. Okay. So I kind of want to show you how to put together one of these. This one I was going to do a night scene on. I was going to have the moon coming up over here. I did one that way and I've got it framed, so that's the other one that I will show you at the end. But if you don't mind, I'd like to move on to showing you how this goes together. Okay. Get rid of some of this stuff out of the way. No, that doesn't need to be here. All right, so the dies, let's see, where's the set? Here we go. That come with this set, you get one frame and you get two ovals, a small one and a larger one that you can use to make a mat that would go inside. But this oval is so small that you really don't get much picture. I'm going to use it for something else that I would frame. I would like to put something like a little floral spray of some sort in here and then have it matted with the frame. So I did leave one mat to make so that I could show you how that's done. Let me get my water out of the way. We don't need to spill that when we go to using the die cut machine. That would not be good. All right, I'm going to put these over to the side. So this is the mats that I make, and then the frames that I made. I've got a whole stack of them here. I used pecan pie for the mats, and as you can see, they are very, very fragile, and they need to have something to back it up. So those first cards that I made, that I showed you that were in the drawing tonight, did not have anything behind them other than some dimensionals on the corners and in between, and I just thought needs to have something else. And then I discovered in looking at the pictures that Stampin' Up! Puts with their sets that shows you some examples, that this is what they had done. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because I was trying to figure out how I could get another layer. I'd thought about taking two of them and putting one the opposite way of the other, but they are cut almost identical, so there wasn't any way of backing it up other than getting something solid behind it like this. So what I found that was the easiest is to have one of these cut out and take your mat that you're going to use, and I cut them to about the same size as the frame. And then, let me bring this over. Hopefully this is not going to be too close. You can't see it. I can tell that right now. I'm going to move it back up again. There, so that you can see this. I went ahead and I just left it sitting here. I put the two together, laid it down on my cutting board, straightened that out, and centered this on where I wanted it to be. And if you don't have a magnetic plate, you need to use tape or whatever to hold it into place, but at least you have it straight and in line. And then I would take this, no, I wouldn't do that. I would take it off cleanly. First time I did that too. Oh, for Pete's sakes, I'm standing up so I'm not. Okay, and then just run this through. Thought it'd be easier for me to crank this. Sorry about all the wiggles. I'm only going to do the one because I've got plenty of them already cut. These make an awesome circle with a little indent around the edge, like a little frame, which is so cool, I think. I thought, oh, well, I think we can use that too. So, all right, well, let's put this together. I thought we would start with a base that is basic beige. And then I took a that's 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it to 4 1/4 on the 8.5 side. And then I took a piece of basic beige that is 1/4 of an inch smaller, so 4 by 5 1/4, and I ran it through the exposed brick embossing folder, and we're going to put that on the front. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that on. And I always add extra glue when it's an embossed piece, because it just lays so much better if it has more contact other than just around the outside edge. Okay, then let's take this one that we made. And so I have found that, okay, so this one isn't exactly, well, almost. If I have to move it over a little bit, it's no problem. If I have to end up trimming off a little bit of the white behind. I figure that's not a big deal either. So I go ahead and glue this on. Just a little bit of glue all the way around. Ooh. Look like my hand was drunk. Okay, and I just try to see if I can get this as straight as possible. Let me lift this up so I can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I do have a little bit that's hanging off. I just grab my scissors and just kind of cut that off. Glue isn't down yet, so I can sneak it off there. Okay, there. And then when I want to put the picture on, come on. I want to line it up and see. Now this one's going to have some over on the side that I can just chop off right away. And I'm just going to do that first thing here. Doesn't have to be anything special. Okay, so I would put dimensionals on the back here because I think it should be popped up. And I'm putting them on all four sides here. And then if you wanted to, you could add some of these on the bottom. And I have been doing that just to make sure that it's raised up nicely. Just on the top and the bottom. Oh, let's see. I don't think I've got another one of these. No, all I've got are the big ones here. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat here. I'll just take one of these. Oh, come on. There. And grab my take and pick tool. Get these off. Oh. Okay. Now we're just going to line this back up. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. We have that done. I thought that it looked a little bare on there. When you cut these out, you get a nice little piece that's left over in the center. And I decided that I would use that as a mat for the sentiment, which could either be, so then I cut this, is it 1/4 of an inch? Yeah, 1/4 of an inch smaller for the sentiment, or we can use this on the same piece. I thought that it needed a little something still behind it, so let's see. This one has a lot of green. I thought, well, how about we use, this is that plaid paper that is so popular, and then maybe add just a piece over to the side. Voila. Yep. Voila. This is just going to get glued directly on to help hold it a little stiffer. It doesn't need more dimensionals. I don't think it sticks up far enough. So that is the plan on that one. So first I was going to use this side and I thought, it's an awful lot. It's too busy. I thought this was a little better. What's nice about this pattern paper is that you can line things up to it pretty easy. Let's see, I want to make sure that I got this. I'm going to take just a little bit more off of this. You can see it off the edge. And it was bugging me. Alright, and I'm just going to kind of line it up with this edge right here. This I'm going to have to hold for a minute. It doesn't pop up. So which one do you think we should use? The beige, or should we use the off-white, the Berry Vanilla? Option 1 or option 2? Whoops. Option 2. What do you think? 1 or 2? Let's see this popping up again. What do you think? 1 or 2? You like 1, Nancy? Okay. And then I took the leaf from, oh boy, I got a mess here. From the Natural Botanicals, the individual leaf here, which is much bigger in here than it is on there. And I thought, oh, this would be nice. Let's put that on here. So I'm just going to use that. So full strength underneath. Oh, you guys are right in my way here. There. And then we flip the stamp over to the back side. And then I'm just going to stamp off once. And that's going to be the background. Like so. On there. Okay, and I'm going to end up just gluing that straight on to the card as well. And we'll put some embellishments on here yet. So there's that one. The embellishments, I thought we would use these nice flat ones again. The gold ones are so pretty on there. So we're just going to put the big one right in the center. And a couple small ones. Like so. What time have we got? Oh my. All right. Should we do another one quick? The inside is going to have just be stamped with time to celebrate. I won't take the time to do that. I could. That's what I did on that one. Let's see. Where's the other one we had here? Let's see how this one looks. At least I don't have to explain it. It's the same process. So okay. Let's see. Oof. That's not going to work. Let's try it on a different one. I'm too wild with the glue here. Good thing I cut a mess of them. There. Well, that's looking nice and straight. Bring it up though. There we go. Okay. I'll bring the dimensionals out a little bit further so we don't have to use anything in the center. I don't know if one would fit anyway. Let me see. Well, maybe one of these half guys will. Yeah, those will. Oy. Come on. There. I don't like to go over an hour. Sorry. Your time is valuable. I still have that last one I want to show you that I made. Okay, so we didn't cut this off yet. There. Good thing I had all these things cut, ready to go. I wasn't sure how this was going to go together tonight. I knew there was an awful lot I wanted to do. I thought, how am I going to get this into an hour? Guess I didn't. Sorry. Okay. Let's do the darker one. That's going to be pretty. These are all 2 inches. Sorry, I didn't give you dimensions. 2 inches by 5 1/4. So it fits right on top of the embossed piece. This is 1 inch by 5 1/4. And this wouldn't necessarily have to be as wide because I am going over part of it with the old olive here. Oh. Bring it down, bring it down. This one's going to get the other one. Oh but I didn't put the leaf on it, did I? Oops. Let's do that quick. I'll set it on top of the embellishments. Sorry if I'm off camera. Oh, I guess I wasn't. Okay. Ooh, getting down there in the... You know, maybe it would have been better to have something smaller for the sentiment, but I just thought, gee whiz, it cuts out these 2 extra pieces that work so well. And every time I put something up in my little box that I've either cut out or I very rarely seem to use them. I pull the box down trying to find something in it, you know. I've got this whole box that's got all these cut things, and a lot of times, most often than not, I can't use them. So, all right, embellishments, quick, and we are done. Hard to see where the middle is here. Which one do you like better? Of what we made. Oh, let me get this mess out of the way. So these are the 2 that we made tonight. Here's the nighttime one that I made that I was intending to do with this one, but there just wasn't enough time to get them all done. This could have been a 2-parter, you know. So, anyway, I think this was fun to do. I enjoyed this. Oh, you know what? I did my sunrise backwards, didn't I? This one I have the red at the bottom and the yellow at the top. Which is it supposed to be? I'm trying to think. Isn't it red at the top? I don't think I'm going to have to Google that. Google a sunrise or a sunset. So anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I like doing this one with the blues. The background darker was kind of cool. The next one I was going to make. I wanted to make the moon coming up much larger. So, but anyway, this was fun. I love this set. This is so cool. It's addicting, man. Once you start, you just want to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. But this was a lot of fun. I hope you get it. It'll be available the beginning of March. I want to say it's like the first Tuesday, and I think that's March 4th, possibly. Tuesday or Wednesday. So stay tuned. I was trying to look that up before I came on, and I absolutely could not find it online. So I'll have to post that out there once I find that anyway. So thanks a lot. I'll see you Tuesday at 6. And it definitely can only be at the most an hour long because I have my class that I do on Zoom directly after it at 7:30. So I want to make sure that I get done with enough time to get to that Zoom link for that class. So I will see you, talk to you on Tuesday night. Stay safe. Have a great rest of your weekend. Get out and enjoy the little bit of warmer weather that we have. Hopefully we don't get freezing rain. I think some of you might be. So take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.